Welcome along to British Speedway Quiz Night number 10. A huge thanks to everyone who is joining us either live this Friday evening, or a large number of you are now playing on demand via our YouTube channels. Either way, a huge thanks for playing along with British Speedway Quiz Night number 10. Obviously, more options are now opening up to everybody in terms of what we can do. Unfortunately, the barbers are still shut, and that's certainly one of the first places I'll be heading to in a couple of weeks' time. But like I say, a huge thanks to everyone for joining us for tonight's quiz. Regular players will know we spend these first few moments just allowing people to join in if they are playing along live, and obviously we still may have some people playing along for the first time, so we do run you through the rules as well. Before we do that though, let's as ever point you in the direction of the official British Speedway website, speedwaygb.co.uk. And as ever, that's the place to go for all the latest breaking news and the official source for everything British Speedway related. Our social media channels: on Twitter, we are at SpeedwayGB. You can search SpeedwayGB on Facebook. Give us a follow on Instagram at Official British Speedway on there. And on YouTube, search Speedway Great Britain and subscribe to our channel. Now, when you're subscribed, also keep your eye out for the bell notification symbol. If you click that, then rather than checking back daily to see if we've updated anything, you will get an email. You'll be notified directly, and you will be sure not to miss a thing. Now, this Monday night Speedway broadcast, it should have been the 2020 British final. Obviously, for reasons we totally understand and know by now, that cannot happen. So we are rewinding to the 2016 British final. The first from the National Speedway Stadium in Manchester. And what a cracking individual event that was as well. So do not miss that this Monday, the 2016 British final, on our YouTube and Facebook channels from 7:30. Now, to build up to what should have been British Final Day this weekend on our social media channels, we have got some exclusive interviews with Chris Harris and Scott Nichols. So obviously two of the most popular British riders in the history of the sport, and particularly in the modern era as well. So do look out for those over the course of the weekend. Back to a British Speedway Quiz Night number 10 though, and as ever, 40 questions coming your way, split into 3 rounds. We'll shortly be getting underway with round number 1, which is our bumper opening round. 20 questions in that one, a bit of anything and everything. We'll then take a short break and watch a few video clips, and then we return with our 2 themed rounds, 10 questions in each of those. Round 2, because it proved so popular last week, we've got a slightly more difficult version of Listen Up. And round 3 is actually one that has been requested by some of our regular quizzes. We have been asked by a fair few people for this round, and we've called it Dove from Above. So we'll keep you guessing for now, and we'll bring you full details of that in a little later on in the quiz, I should say. So like I say, we will then head into our interval, which is around about 5 minutes or so. We'll watch 3 clips from the British Speedway Video Vault, and then we will return with all of tonight's answers, and that will be your opportunity to tot up your totals. Now, if you aren't sure of the question or the answer at the time, do make a note of what the question involved. And like I say, that 5-minute interval a little later on will be the perfect opportunity to fill in any gaps you may have. As ever, all for a bit of fun, no prizes. If you are playing along on Facebook, then do feel free to type your comments in underneath the video. And if you are just watching on there and playing by pen and paper, then disable the comments if you don't want other people to spoil your answers or thought process. And YouTube, as ever, enter full screen mode, and the comments should automatically disappear on the side. Now, with tonight's 2 rounds, the 2 theme rounds, on Listen Up, we do advise you to turn up your volume as loud as you can, so you can just hear the voices quite clearly. And for round 3 tonight, we have got some images on each of the questions. So if you are playing on your mobile device, we do advise that you turn it landscape so that the pictures appear even larger. But like I say, you'll see exactly what I mean when we do come on to those 2 theme rounds. So I think that about covers everything for now. So round number 1 is on its way as we kick off British Speedway Quiz Night number 10. Here we go then, hopefully a nice easy start as well. Question number 1, which British club are nicknamed the Bears? So which British club are nicknamed the Bears? Question 2, which championship club race their home fixtures at the Armadale Stadium? So which championship club race their home fixtures at the Armadale Stadium? Sticking with racing venues for question number 3, which now defunct club used to race their home fixtures at the Dudley Wood Stadium? So which now defunct club used to race their home fixtures at the Dudley Wood Stadium? Question number 4, which club's crest logo have we zoomed in on here? So which club's crest logo have we zoomed in on here? Question number 5. Kent have announced that they will now race their championship fixtures on what night of the week in 2020? So Kent have announced that they will now race their championship fixtures on what night of the week in 2020? Question 6. How many British riders will take part in the 2020 Speedway European Championships? So how many British riders will take part in the 2020 Speedway European Championships? Fifty-fifty chance of you getting question number 7 correct. Which of these major individual honours did Dan Bewley win first? So which of these major individual honours did Dan Bewley win first? Is it A, the British Under-19 Championship, or B, the National League Riders' Championship? Question 8. Piotr Pawlicki last appeared in British Speedway with which club? So Piotr Pawlicki last appeared in British Speedway with which club? Sticking with Polish racers and multiple choice for question number 9. In what year did Krzysztof Kasperzak last have a team place in British Speedway? So in what year did Krzysztof Kasperzak last have a team place in British Speedway? Is it A, 2015, B, 2016, C, 2017, or D, 2018? Question 10. Australian racer Jake Allen has officially ridden for how many British clubs? So Australian racer Jake Allen has officially ridden for how many British clubs? Question 11. Richard Lawson reached 3 team finals in 2018, but with which 2 clubs? So Richard Lawson reached 3 team finals in 2018, but with which 2 clubs? Question 12. Leicester won the 2019 Championship Shield, but which team did they defeat in the final? So Leicester won the 2019 Championship Shield, but which team did they defeat in the final? Question 13. Which current home rider holds the new Swindon track record? So which current home rider holds the new Swindon track record? First opportunity to put riders in a certain order for question number 14. From oldest to youngest, can you put the following 4 Berwick riders in order of their age? So from oldest to youngest, can you put the following 4 Berwick riders in order of their age? And the riders are option A, Kyle Bickley, B, Leon Flint, C, Nikolai Busch-Jakobsen, and D, Aaron Summers. Question 15. Can you name the rider pictured during his Isle of Wight racing days? So can you name the rider pictured during his Isle of Wight racing days? Another 50-50 chance of you getting question 16 right. Which National League club did Henry Atkins race for in 2019? So which National League club did Henry Atkins race for in 2019? Is it A, Mildenhall, or B, Plymouth? More riders in a certain order for question 17, this time from highest to lowest. Can you put the following 4 riders in order based on their final green sheet average at the end of the 2019 Premiership season? So from highest to lowest, can you put the following 4 riders in order based on their final green sheet average at the end of the 2019 Premiership season? And we've got A, Troy Batchelor, B, Max Frick, C, Niels Christian Everson, and D, Sam Masters. Multiple choice for question 18. Which of the following was crowned Premier League Riders Champion whilst a Newcastle rider in 2010? So which of the following was crowned Premier League Riders Champion whilst a Newcastle rider in 2010? Was it A, Rennie Batch, B, Kenny Larson, C, Ulrich Ostergaard, or D, James Wright? Now, as we touched upon at the start of tonight's quiz, this Monday should have been the 2020 British final. But for question 19, can you remember who finished runner-up in the 2019 British Championship final? So who finished runner-up in the 2019 British Championship final? And for question number 20, can you name the 2 American racers who featured in the June 2014 Premier League fixture between Peterborough and Ipswich? So can you name the 2 American racers who featured in the June 2014 Premier League fixture between Peterborough and Ipswich? Round number 1 of tonight's quiz is done then. We'll be back with 20 more questions and 2 more rounds shortly, but for the next few moments, simply sit back and enjoy a couple of races from the British Speedway archives.
Hold it in white off gate 1. Saifudinov is in blue, in red off gate 2. Kennett, no doubt furious with heat number 11, goes in blue off the outside. There's the green light there from the referee, where they go, and Holder has made a good start, gets across in front of Saifudinov, tries to take Kennett wide. Great first bend by Chris Holder to lead Saifudinov at the back straight for the first time. Saifudinov will chase Kennett in third place, and now can Saifudinov repay the compliment that Chris Holder paid him in the first race when he passed him on the second lap. Saifudinov will certainly be going for it, tries to turn back, Kennett's there as well, but it's Holder from Saifudinov with Kennett in third place and just over a couple of laps to go. Holder still leads, riding the outside line. Saifudinov moving in on the inside with just a couple of laps to go. Chris Holder leads from Emil Saifudinov. It's Edward Kennett in third place, and still Chris Holder leads, and that's keeping Paul very much in touch for a point at least from the meeting, and the chance, if Gaffarov can win heat 14, to draw it. 1 lap to go. Saifudinov still chasing on Chris Holder. Saifudinov taking so much speed into that bend. Holder rides the fence, and he had to because Saifudinov had got the speed. Just a corner to go. It's Holder from Saifudinov. Holder holds it tight. Now he goes wide. Saifudinov back down the inside. Here comes Saifudinov. Holder wins it from Saifudinov. Kennett in third place, and Chris Holder had to ride perfectly there in heat 13, and he did just that.
Seeing their lead whittled away. Here we go, and away they go. And into the first turn there. Well, it was a good start from Anderson briefly, but it's Ostergaard who's gone across the front of him. Worrell joins him up front. Worrell looks over his shoulder. He knows he can hold the outside line. Ostergaard will hold the inside. Here comes Pickering. Pickering really fighting that race there. Goes round the top turn. He really is hanging off his motorbike here. He goes right out into the turn again. Can he find a way past Ostergaard? He's certainly got the speed. Worrell, meanwhile, has gone away. He's left the Dane to fend for himself. The Dane moves out wide. He knows that's where the challenge is coming. Ostergaard in second place, and here comes Pickering again, and look at him hanging off that motorcycle. Super Speedway down the back straight into the bottom turn. Ostergaard hanging on to second place, and here comes Pickering again, trying to find a way around the outside. Switches back slightly there. Around this first and second turn, he really is giving it a go. Goes right out wide, down the back straight, and he's on the back wheel there of Ostergaard. Can he do it at the last gasp here? He's really going for it here. It's wonderful racing. Oh, what a pass! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! There is no other word to describe that second place for Josh Pickering. And wow, another lap. He may have caught Worrell as well. Unbelievable stuff indeed.
Well, I, for one, have thoroughly enjoyed reliving all this old action, and quite a lot of it I've never seen before, and we have been treated to some more cracking British Speedway Video Vault races there. On to our 2 theme rounds now then, starting with Listen Up, and those of you who played along last week will know exactly what this involves, so get that volume turned up as we start round number 2. Listen up. So those of you who played along in British Speedway Quiz Night 9 last week will know what this round entails, but for any new quizzers or anyone who is yet to catch up with last week's quiz, we're essentially going to play 10 interview snippets with riders from the past couple of years. All you need to do is tell us who's speaking. Now, a good number of you last week said it was easy, so we've decided to turn up the difficulty slightly. There aren't any tricks in there though, so don't panic. These are all voices you will have heard at some point. And the only clue I can really give you is that all 10 of these riders still feature in British Speedway. The only difference this week is we're only going to play each clip once, so that each question doesn't drag on as long. Anyway, here we go. Listen up. Here's rider number 1.
It was the only reason I sort of left, all them years ago, because they went down league, and I obviously wanted to stay in the top field. So It's certainly nice to be back there with them now, and hopefully we can push on and get something out of it.
Listen up, here comes rider number 2.
I've got a long history with the club, and to be fair, Peterborough is in my heart. It's where I lived nearly throughout the whole my career in England. So yeah, Peterborough is a special place in my heart, and it's nice for them to be in top flight, and even nicer for me to be back at this track, because it is next to the Bellevue track, the best track in England.
Listen up, it's time for rider number 3.
Obviously, it's nice being local, a mile and a half down the road. I can leave, I don't have to leave at ridiculous times to come to a home meeting where I've done for the last quite a few years now. So yeah, it was nice, some new changes, some old faces come back to the club, which is nice to see.
Listen up, it's rider number 4.
Yeah, I love this track. It's a little different from the last time. You know, last week the outside line is not working very good. You know, so already try to stay in the inside line. But this track is beautiful. You know, it's very fast, and I love riding the outside. So.
Listen up, here's rider number 5.
They are a totally different side, and their strength and depth is quite amazing, you know. And but on the same context, you know, we've got riders that can win races, and okay, we've got some riders that are kind of new to British Speedway, but they're learning and they're developing, and you know, we'll move in the right direction.
Listen up, here comes rider number 6.
Like everybody says, the UK is definitely a whole different ball game, a whole different style of tracks, a whole different style of racing. So I'm really looking forward to expanding my range of knowledge and getting my feet wet.
Listen up, it's rider number 7.
But yeah, it was a good team win as well. We obviously we had some of the boys struggling a bit, and when some others, you know, step up and then it's balance it out, and you know, that's what we call team win.
Listen up, rider number 8.
For the last 5 years, or maybe longer, I'd say I've always been at number 1 in any team in the championship that I've been in. And this year is a bit strange for myself, starting at number 3, and having 2 guys around me or 2 guys above me that are exceptionally good.
Listen up, it's rider number 9.
Yeah, it's been a massive year. in every aspect. You know, I've come on a long way. I'm riding in 3 leagues, so I'm busier than I've ever been. The equipment's on top of things, better than it's ever been, engines as well, and I've just enjoyed it as well. I'm enjoying my racing, and I hope to keep it going.
And finally, listen up. Here comes rider number 10.
We'll give it all we've got, and as long as you've got a good team spirit, that helps massively. I've been in teams where the spirit's really low, and it doesn't matter how good the riders are in the team. If it's like 7 individuals, it's not fun to be in that environment. So if we can keep our spirits high no matter what, we'll be happy.
Straight on to round number 3 then, and our final round of British Speedway Quiz Night number 10. And tonight it's called Dove from Above. Now, no, nothing to do with Shooting Stars or Reeves or Mortimer. This is a round which has actually been requested by a number of our regular quizzers after seeing something similar on other social media channels. So we're going to zoom around the UK to get a bird's eye view of some of the speedway tracks and stadiums in Britain. Now, this will of course be easier for some of you than others, depending on how many tracks you've visited and how many distinctive features at each venue you've paid attention to. But as ever, all for a bit of fun. So let's see how you get on with track and stadium number 1. Hopefully that was a nice easy one for you then. Now on to track number 2. Which club race at this track? Number 3. Whose home is this? Track number 4. Another one coming your way now. Here's track number 5. Straight on to track number 6. Track number 7, but who races here? Track number 8, whose home is this? Penultimate one of tonight's quiz. Here's track number 9. And the final opportunity for you to get a point onto your tally in British Speedway Quiz Night number 10. It's track number 10, and who races here? So we hope you enjoyed that instalment of British Speedway Quiz Night, particularly those 2 theme rounds. Listen Up proved so popular last week, and we enjoyed your feedback on that, so we decided to return it for a second successive British Speedway Quiz Night, just by turning up the difficulty slightly, but hopefully you still did okay. And round number 3, Dove from Above, that was one of our most requested rounds by regular quizzers via our social media channels, so we decided to give it a go. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully you will get a decent score on that round as well. Now is the perfect opportunity to fill in any gaps that you do have on your answer sheet. We'll be running through tonight's answers in around about 5 minutes time. In the meantime, we're heading to the British Speedway Video Vault once again for some more classic clips.
Starting Marshall walks away, green lights on, and away they go. And a charge for the first turn, and it's Cupid's made a super start from the outside there. Cockle coming to join him up on the inside. Phillips goes through in a second place there. And look at this as Cockle goes up on the inside of Danny Phillips there. Got a super race going on. Phillips almost clouts the fence as Cockle comes through. It's Lane Cupid out in front though, and the Warriors on a 5-1. Round the bottom turn, Cockle on the inside, Cupid on the outside. And Cupid seems to be slowing up there. Here comes Cockle trying to find a way through. In yellow there, it is Danny Phillips. He hasn't given up the chase here. And if he can see a gap, he will go for it. But the Warriors team right in here. Cupid on the outside, Cockle on the inside. Phillips looking for a gap up on the inside here at Cockle, and he's moved him out of the way, and he's going to get them both there. That is sensational from the teenager. Danny Phillips goes in front there as he bursts through past both of the Warriors there. Cockle was trying to team ride, but Danny Phillips steals the glory, steals the thunder, and steals the victory in a super heat number 7. So 3 points to Phillips, 2 to Cockle, 1 to Cupid there. It's a shared heat, 3 apiece.
Josh Pickering gate 2, Lewis Kerr gate 3, and Joel Anderson in gate 4. Joel's away well. Can he get round the Tigers here? Yes, he can. Anderson leads. Pickering again, trying to come from the back. And he's close. Kicking such extravagant lines. Josh Pickering is chasing hard on Sargent. He's up alongside him there. He's already been down on that corner and he's still not round the Glasgow man. Giving it everything. Sargent's not going particularly wide, so there is room for Pickering's outside sweeps. Here he comes switching to the inside now, and he's got through. Great effort by Pickering. Sargent coming back though. Anderson, his best ride so far to win comfortably against Kerr, that's good. And Pickering from the back to take the point. Morocks go ahead with a very spirited ride indeed.
Tapes rise and into that first bend, and it is Batchelor from the outside who makes a decent start, but it is Ward who leads the way from his second place. It's Anderson who takes the lead from Ward in second, Batchelor's in third, Kasperzak is at the back, but it's Anderson who leads the way from Ward. In third it is Batchelor, now going wide, it's Darcy Ward to find some grip, but it's Anderson who leads from Ward in second. In third it is Batchelor. Kasperzak been dropped at the back, as down at the back goes Batchelor. He'll try and get off the track as quickly as possible to give Hans Anderson the best possible chance, as Ward now up the inside of Anderson to take the lead. It is Ward who leads the way from Anderson in second. In third, Kasperzak. All action. Darcy Ward to cut the Robbins lead down to 8 points with just 2 races to go. Red Beds 3 and 4, final time. Darcy Ward has taken a spectacular win from Hans Anderson in second, Kasperzak in third. But certainly the best race so far here tonight at the Abbey Stadium. It's 2 points to the Robins, 4 to the Pirates. The Robins move on to 46, the Pirates 38.
Right, have one last swig of that drink then, and get your pens at the ready as we run you through the answers to British Speedway Quiz Night number 10. Let's start with round number 1, of course then. Let's see how you got on in tonight's bumper opening round. Question number 1, which British club are nicknamed the Bears? Of course, the answer was Redcar. Well, yes, we've been easing you in with nickname questions in recent weeks, and as ever, hopefully, almost all of you will have got that one correct. Straight on to question number 2, which championship club raced their home fixtures at the Armadale Stadium? Correct answer was, of course, Edinburgh. Well, of course, it was the Monarchs who race at the West Lothian venue. And if stadiums and tracks are your strong point, then maybe you did well in our final theme round this week. Time will tell on that one, though. In the meantime, back to the answers for round 1. And also sticking with racing venues for question number 3, which now defunct club used to race their home fixtures at the Dudley Wood Stadium. It was Cradley Heath. Well, yes, one for the slightly older generation of Speedway quizzes and supporters out there. But despite not being the most glamorous of stadiums, it's still one of the most well-known names of stadia in the history of British Speedway. Question 4, which club's crest logo have we zoomed in on here? It was Plymouth. Well, perhaps one of the slightly more difficult crests we've tested you on of late. And hopefully you've all seen the latest Plymouth logo that has been used for the past couple of seasons since the club rebranded. Question 5. Kent have announced that they will now race their championship fixtures on what night of the week in 2020? The answer we were looking for is Tuesday. Well, the Kings were initially set to switch to Wednesdays following their elevation into the second tier, but have now agreed that Tuesdays will be in the best interests of all, with potential fixture clashes in mind, with Birmingham, Poole and Somerset also championship sides with a regular Wednesday race night. So Tuesday was the answer for question number 5. Question number 6, how many British riders will take part in the 2020 Speedway European Championships? It is 1. Well, yes, it will be Robert Lambert flying the flag for Great Britain after being handed a spot in the series, which will take place throughout July in Poland. 50-50 chance of you getting question 7 correct. Which of these major individual honours did Dan Bewley win first? Was it A, the British Under-19 Championship, or B, the National League Riders' Championship? It was option B, National League Riders' Championship. Well, yes, Bewley won the British Under-19 title in 2018, but it was during his second season on the Shale. He won the National League Riders' Championship at Leicester in 2017, so option B gets you the point for that one. Question 8, Piotr Pawlicki last appeared in British Speedway with which club? It was Wolverhampton. Well, yes, the talented Polish racer, who was one of the standout stars in last weekend's Extra Liga racing in his home country, scored almost 200 points in just over half a season in 2014 for Wolverhampton. He has also ridden for Coventry and Poole in the UK, but it was with the Wolves we last saw him over here 6 years ago. We were sticking with Polish racers for question number 9, and multiple choice this was. In what year did Krzysztof Kasperzak last have a team place in British Speedway? A, 2015, B, 2016, C, 2017 or D, 2018? It was option D, 2018. Well, yes, the former world number 2 was racing for the Rye House Rockets in the Premiership prior to the closure partway through 2018. So option D is what we were looking for that one. Question 10. Australian racer Jake Allen has officially ridden for how many British clubs? The answer we were looking for was 3. Well, Allen made his debut in British Speedway with Somerset in 2016 and will again double up between Ipswich and Scunthorpe in 2020. And if you've got a good memory and paid close attention to one of our career path questions earlier in these British Speedway Quiz Night instalments, then that may have been a bit easier for you. Question 11. Richard Lawson reached 3 team finals in 2018, but with which 2 clubs? The answers, Somerset and Lakeside. Well, yes, the new Sheffield man was a Premiership Knockout Cup winner with Somerset, whilst missing out on the Championship Shield and Championship Grand Final after being beaten in both finals by Workington on the same night in October of that year. As always, 1 point if you got both answers on that one. Question 12. Leicester won the 2019 Championship Shield, but which team did they defeat in the final? It was Eastbourne. Well, yes, the Lions beat the Eagles by 27 points on aggregate to lift what was unbelievably their first ever item of national team silverware. So Leicester beat Eastbourne in the 2019 Championship Shield final. Question 13. Which current home rider holds the new Swindon track record? The answer, Jason Doyle. Well, yes, it was the 2017 World Champion who set a time of 60.30 last July, according to the club's official website, on the newly sized Abbey Stadium circuit. Putting riders in a certain order for question 14. First of all, from oldest to youngest, can you put the following 4 Berwick riders in order of their age? A. Kyle Bickley, B. Leon Flint, C. Nikolai Bush-Jacobson and D. Aaron Summers. And the correct answer we were looking for was D, C, A, B. So D, C, A, B. That's Aaron Summers, Nikolai Bush-Jacobson, Kyle Bickley and Leon Flint. Well, Aaron Summers was born on March the 1st, 1988, making him 32, while Nikolai Bush-Jacobson was born on February the 14th, 1994, making him 26. On to the 2 British youngsters, and Kyle Bickley was born on February the 27th, 2002, making him 18, with Leon Flint currently 17 after being born on February the 22nd, 2003. Question 15. Can you name the rider pictured during his Isle of Wight racing days? It was Jason Bunyan. Well, yes, it was the multi-New Zealand national champion who represented a whole host of British clubs in a career that spanned almost 20 years in the UK. On to question 16. Which National League club did Henry Atkins race for in 2019? Is it A. Mildenhall or B. Plymouth? It was option A, Mildenhall. Well, the British youngster may have rejoined Plymouth for 2020 after spending 2 previous seasons with them, but it was Mildenhall he raced for last year after signing for the Fen Tigers partway through the campaign. Question 17. From highest to lowest, can you put the following 4 riders in order based on their final green sheet average at the end of the 2019 Premiership season? And we had A, Troy Batchelor, B, Max Frick, C, Niels Christian Everson and D, Sam Masters. And the correct order, well, you didn't need to change a thing as a matter of fact for this one. The correct order is A, B, C, D. So A, B, C, D, Troy Batchelor, Max Frick, Niels Christian Everson and Sam Masters. Well, the options there were simply listed alphabetically by surname, and it just so happened coincidentally that that was also the order of their final green sheet averages last year. So Troy Batchelor finished with a figure of 8.82 with Swindon, just 0.01 ahead of Max Frick, who finished on 8.81 with Bellevue. Late season Ipswich signing Niels Christian Everson has a figure of 7.54, while Sam Masters finished on 7.35 with Wolverhampton. So yep, A, B, C, D was the order for question 17. Multiple choice for question 18. Which of the following was crowned Premier League Riders Champion whilst a Newcastle rider in 2010? Is it A, Rennie Batch, B, Kenny Larson, C, Ulrich Ostergaard or D, James Wright? It was option B, Kenny Larson. Well, yes, Ulrich Ostergaard and James Wright have both ridden for Newcastle and have both won the event, but not in 2010. Batch was a diamond in 2010, but it was Kenny Larson, option B, the Newcastle rider, who lifted the trophy for the year in question. On to question 19, and of course the 2020 British final should have been this Monday. But for the penultimate question of round number 1, we wanted to know who finished runner-up in the 2019 British Championship final. It was Danny King. Well, yes, very similar to a question we asked you in one of our earlier instalments of the British Speedway Quiz Night, but it was Danny King who had to settle for second place behind Charles Wright after dropping just 1 point in his qualifying rides. Question 20, and can you name the 2 American racers who featured in the June 2014 Premier League fixture between Peterborough and Ipswich? The correct answer, Ryan Fisher and Gino Manzarez. Well, this was tonight's only question relating to our latest Monday night Speedway broadcast, and what a fixture we saw with some great racing from the home of the Panthers, with both Fisher and Manzarez in some of the thickest of the action. As ever, if you're following our marking scheme, then it's 1 point if you got both names for that one. On to round 2, and this was a second consecutive week of Listen Up, where we basically played you some short snippets from some interview clips with some riders who currently feature in British Speedway. So we played you each interview snippet once, and all you had to do was tell us which rider was speaking. So we started Listen Up with rider number 1.
It was the only reason I sort of left, all them years ago, because they went down league, and I obviously wanted to stay in the top field. So it's certainly nice to be back there with them now, and hopefully we can push on and get something out of it.
And of course it was 2016 British champion Danny King. So Danny King was rider number 1. On to rider number 2.
I've got a long history with the club, and to be fair, Peterborough is in my heart. It's where I lived nearly throughout the whole my career in England. So yeah, Peterborough is a special place in my heart, and it's nice for them to be in top flight, and even nicer for me to be back at this track, because it is next to the Bellevue track, the best track in England.
It was Danish former World Cup winner Hans Andersen. So Hans Andersen was rider number 2. On to rider number 3.
Obviously, it's nice being local, a mile and a half down the road. I can leave, I don't have to leave at ridiculous times to come to a home meeting, where I've done for the last quite a few years now. So yeah, it was nice, some new changes, some old faces come back to the club, which is nice to see.
It was the 2005 and 2007 British Under-21 champion Edward Kennett. Edward Kennett for number 3. Straight on to rider number 4.
Yeah, I love this track. It's a little different from the last time, Last week the outside line is not working very good, so always try to stay in the inside line. But this track is beautiful, it's very fast, and I love riding the outside. So
a very distinctive voice, and it could still have been a couple of options though, but it was Ipswich and Kent racer Nico Cavati. So Nico Cavati was the answer for question number 4. On to rider number 5.
They are a totally different side, and their strength and depth is quite amazing, and but on the same context, we've got riders that can win races, and we've got some riders that are kind of new to British Speedway, but they're learning and they're developing, and we'll move in the right direction.
It was Kings Lynn and Leicester star Ty Proctor. Straight on to rider number 6.
Like everybody says, the UK is definitely a whole different ball game, a whole different style of tracks, whole different style of racing. So I'm really looking forward to expanding my range of knowledge and getting my feet wet.
Correct answer. 2018 American champion Wolverhampton's Luke Becker. So Luke Becker, rider number 6. Rider number 7.
But yeah, it was a good team win as well. We obviously we had some of the boys struggling a bit, and when some others step up, and then it's balance it out, and that's what we call team win.
It was Kings Lynn favourite and Scunthorpe returnee Thomas Jorgensen. Thomas Jorgensen, the correct answer for question number 7. Rider number 8.
For the last 5 years, maybe longer, I'd say I've always been at number 1 in any team in the championship that I've been in. And this year is a bit strange for myself, starting at number 3, and having 2 guys around me or 2 guys above me that are exceptionally good.
It was the former Great Britain international Steve Worrell. So Steve Worrell, and talking in that interview clip about the 2020 poolside. Rider number 9.
Yeah, it's been a massive year in every aspect. You know, I've come on a long way. I'm riding in 3 leagues, so I'm busier than I've ever been. The equipment's on top of things, better than it's ever been, engines as well, and I've just enjoyed it as well. I'm enjoying my racing, and I hope to keep it going.
It was the 2019 history maker himself, Ellis Perks. So Ellis Perks for number 9. And last but not least, rider number 10.
We'll give it all we've got, and as long as you've got a good team spirit, that helps massively. I've been in teams where the spirit's really low, and it doesn't matter how good the riders are in the team. If it's like 7 individuals, it's not fun to be in that environment. So if we can keep our spirits high no matter what, we'll be happy.
Well, the West Midlands twang may have given it away with this one. It is Sheffield and Birmingham's Ashley Morris. So Ashley Morris was the final rider for round number 2. And listen up. Straight on to round number 3 then. Dove from Above, this one was called. Basically, we went zooming around the UK to get a bird's eye view of some of the Speedway tracks and stadiums in Britain. Let's see how you got on. Hopefully it was a nice easy one for track number 1. Who races their home fixtures here? At the National Speedway Stadium, it is Bellevue. So Bellevue, the correct answer for question number 1. Track number 2, whose home is this? It is Kings Lynn, the Adrian Flux Arena. So Kings Lynn, correct answer for track number 2. Straight on to track number 3. And it was Wolverhampton's Monmouth Green Stadium. So Wolverhampton was the answer you needed to write down for question number 3. Straight on to track number 4. Whose home is this one? It is the Ipswich Witches. The Vauxhall Stadium was what was pictured here with the green seats on the left-hand side. So Ipswich, the correct answer for question 4. On to track number 5, and whose home track is this? It is Leicester, the Paul Chapman and Sons Arena, surrounded by the grass of Beaumont Park. So Leicester, the answer for question 5. Track 6, who races here? It was the Peterborough Panthers, the East of England Arena, was what we shown you for that one. So Peterborough was the answer for question 6. Track 7. Who races their home fixtures here? It was Glasgow. Yes, the Peugeot Ashfield Stadium. So hopefully you had Glasgow written down for question 7. On to track number 8. And this was the home of the Swindon Robins. So it was the Abbey Stadium, and Swindon was the club who race at this track. On to track number 9. And yes, certainly a unique shape, particularly on the bends, you could say. It was the home of Eastbourne. Arlington Stadium, the home of the Eastbourne Eagles. And last but not least, who races at this track? It was Redcar, the Media Prima Arena. Redcar was the answer to question number 10. So then, how many points did you rack up in British Speedway Quiz Night number 10? Like I say, depending on your knowledge, how often you go to the sport, how much you read up on the sport away from the track as well, that will all impact on your score. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter how many points you score. We just like to keep you entertained for an hour or so on a Friday night. And hopefully you have enjoyed it once again as well. As ever, do let us know your final score. We love seeing them come through, and we've seen some really high scores and some personal bests coming through over the past few weeks as well, which has been great to see. And obviously, I guess the score does add to your overall enjoyment of the quiz nights as well. So do post those underneath the Facebook video and see how you got on compared to other quizzes around the UK. So that does complete British Speedway Quiz Night number 10 itself. Don't forget, we have still got plenty more coming your way. this weekend on our social media channels, Twitter at Speedway GB, Facebook search Speedway GB, give us a like on there. Instagram, follow us at Official British Speedway and subscribe to our Speedway Great Britain YouTube channel. Like I say, it is building up to what should have been British final day, so we have got some exclusive interviews with Chris Harris and Scott Nichols coming your way this weekend. And then this Monday night, the latest Monday night Speedway broadcast from 7:30 on our YouTube and Facebook channels. It is the 2016 British final, so do not miss that. Now, next Friday, there may be a certain West Midlands football club in action who I may just happen to follow. But fear not, I will still be here for you, bringing you British Speedway Quiz Night number 11 from 8:30. So join us on our YouTube and Facebook pages once again for that. In the meantime, continue to keep up to date on our official website and social media channels, like I say. Look after yourselves and your families, stay safe and be sensible, and I'll see you on Monday for the 2016 British Final.